In our last session, I talked about the Anglo-Boer War, the role of the Africans in that war, where the Africans allied with the British, but at the end of the war, the British sought to reconcile with the Boer at the expense of the Africans. And they subordinated the Africans, took the land that the Africans had seized during the war away from the Africans, and attempted to reconcile with their former enemies, the Boers. Less than 10 years following Britain's victory over the Boers, the British united the four settler colonies, the Transvaal, the Orange Free State, the Natal, and the Cape Colony, into one single Union of South Africa, and then they withdrew from control, direct colonial control of the Union of South Africa. Now, given the structure of the Union of South Africa and the preponderance of Boers in the white population, the British withdrawal of direct colonial control over South Africa effectively ceded control over the whole of South Africa to the Boer. But Boer leaders, some of the Boer leaders, such as a man named Jan Smuts, who will play a very important role in World War II, by the way, some of the Boer leaders understood the great possibility and advantages of working together with the British. So although the British nominally withdrew direct colonial control, the Boer, in working with the British, in fact, were able to create a more prosperous, for themselves, not for the Africans, were able to create a more prosperous South Africa for themselves. A South Africa in which the African population could actually be better controlled than it had previously been controlled. And the essence of that control, the most important element of that control, was control over the labor of the Africans, the migrant labor that was needed for the farms and the mines of South Africa. So in the year 1910, the Union of South Africa was founded. Now again, the key thing that needed to be controlled in South Africa to make South Africa profitable for the settlers was African labor. And that's what I'm going to turn to now, the system of migrant labor for the mines and the farms that developed, or that was put forward in this Union of South Africa. As we've discussed, two major discoveries sparked South Africa's mineral revolution. We're going to start by talking about the mines. The discovery of the diamonds in the Kimberley region, north of the Orange River in central South Africa, and the discovery of gold in the Transvaal region in the 1880s. Parallel developments occurred with both discoveries. At first, with the discovery of diamonds in the Kimberley, for example, both whites and blacks rushed to stake claims in the diamond fields. Within 10 years of the discovery, however, white claim holders and aspiring white claim holders, together with white merchants who both bought and sold diamonds, successfully demanded legislation which would control African workers. Moreover, as the initial claims were worked and as the easy picking secured, more capital intensive. So if the diamonds are just readily available, you don't need machinery to dig to get them. You can just pick them up. But once those surface level pickings are gone, you know there's still diamonds there, but you need machinery now to get it. And so within a few years of the initial finding and the initial claims to those diamonds, the small claim holders were more and more forced to sell their claims because they didn't have the capital to invest in the machinery that was necessary to get the deeper levels of diamond. And so increasingly large mining concerns came to dominate the diamond fields of the Kimberley area of South Africa. These increasingly large mining concerns culminated in the consolidation of a single corporation called the De Beers Consolidated Mines under the control of I was going to say our friend, but he's not our friend, is he? Someone we've already met, Cecil Rhodes. And under Rhodes, the principal demand, when you've got capital, when you've got machinery, what you need is labor. Labor to work the machinery. Labor to go in after the machinery has done the cutting and whatever to get deeper into these veins and get at the diamonds. Moreover, De Beers Mining had to closely control this labor because, when you're working in the diamond mines and you're not getting paid very much, the attractiveness of maybe slipping a diamond somewhere on your person and leaving with that diamond and getting paid a lot more for that diamond than what you've gotten paid for finding the diamond, for getting the diamond. Initially, De Beers attempted to strip search all miners, white and black, as they left the mines. But against the protest of the white miners, De Beers yielded. But he continued to strip search the black miners. And by the way, here is an image of a mining camp today in the Kimberley, in the diamond center of the Kimberley today. Strip searching was closely followed by constructing closed housing compounds for the miners. Once again, when De Beers attempted to impose these closed housing compounds, so in other words, basically little prisons where you would live so that you couldn't get out if you managed to smuggle diamond, you couldn't get out and sell the diamond. The white miners vigorously protested against these closed mining compounds, but the black workers were subjected to living in these closed compounds. And so the white workers succeeded in utilizing white racism as a weapon to secure their status relative to the black workers. By the 1880s, the labor force in the diamond region of South Africa was racially divided. White workers were increasingly employed as skilled workers and supervisors and lived in boarding houses and homes that they might own in the region. while black workers, on the other hand, lived in appalling conditions in closed labor compounds and worked for a fraction of the pay that white workers received. And with that, I will close this section, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this migrant labor, starting with migrant labor in the gold fields.